Howdy guys. This is part three of Gabriel's very long question. And really this involves talking about SHA256. What would happen if SHA256 were broken? Well, once again, it really depends on how hard it is to actually utilize that. So sometimes some breaks, it still takes a lot of computing power. It's just more efficient than the current method, which is more or less brute force. So what would happen? Well, the thing that would be most affected is actually mining, not any of the other stuff. And you can do all of the things that you could do with mining manipulation. If you have essentially more hash power or the equivalent hash power than the rest of the network, then you can execute something like a 51% attack. That means that you can double spend. You might be able to do large reorgs or something like that. But most likely, given the economic incentives, the people that are utilizing it or have this secret formula to do SHA-256 really fast would just mine, and they would make a lot of money. And the thing is, as they do it, they'll be mining faster than other people, and the network difficulty would adjust, and that's more or less what would probably happen given the economic incentives. If it's sort of a well-known thing and everyone kind of picks it up at the same time, then you have more or less the same security, unless it's like a complete break of SHA-256, in which case you can come up with some sort of hash that you're aiming at any point, just by applying some algorithm or something like that. In that case, there would probably need to be a proof of work change, and that would probably be a hard fork, although I'm not even ruling out a soft fork because there's probably a way to do it that way. But the key thing here is that it would maybe break proof of work, but largely it doesn't affect your money at all. It doesn't affect the UTXO set because all of those are protected by discrete lock. So unless that happens to break at the same time, it doesn't really matter. It does matter, but it doesn't affect your money. No one can take it away. It's kind of a lot more like if the miners all banded together and conspired, what could they do? Well, very similar, right? And if it's kind of a secret or something like that would change things up. And the reason why is because discrete log. But even if discrete log and SHA-256 broke, you'd still need to break RIPE MD160, which is another hashing algorithm, in order to take funds from addresses that hadn't spent before. So you're protected by a lot of things, and a really weird combination of discoveries would have to be made at the same time without anybody else knowing about it in order for people to be able to take your funds. So I don't think this is something that you need to worry too much about. If SHA-256 breaks, like somebody can basically come up with the equivalent of an ASIC, but much, much faster. And that may mean that there's a hard fork into a different proof of work or something like that. But it wouldn't. The UTXO set in particular would not be compromised. The other one with discrete log being compromised, that's where I talked a little bit more about what that would mean, and that's. Largely if you're not reusing addresses and you don't have like a pay to pub key output, you should be okay. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. The Bitcoin is actually really, really well protected and well designed, and you can do stuff like this. So you have to think in those terms. I can't speak to any of these other coins. I imagine they're probably a little more vulnerable, just given what I know, at least a little bit, but I would have to look into it a little more. Anyway, hopefully that helps. If you found this helpful, please give me a thumbs up or a share. I'm planning to publish all three tomorrow. This song is that.